Eternity. We're in our spring fund drive, and I am asking you, encouraging you to use any of the platforms to make donation, but we would prefer to hear from you so that we can have that interaction, that dialogue. And see, this is the thing about our devices. The devices are oftentimes divisive, and we're having to really utilize them to create greater wealth for ourselves and greater harmony and peace within ourselves. But there's so many things that you could be listening to, so many things that are vying for your attention. It's hard for you to even get a stream of thought without advertising and all of these ones that pull you off track. And when by the time you really look at it, you have been completely distracted for hours, just looking at the reels and listening to people and looking here and going here. And I'm just saying is that you got to be really focused right now in terms of our right response and seeing the escalation of might thinks it's right. You understand? And the warfare against the people, but the people have to stop warring within themselves. We cannot be a house divided against ourselves and stand for it. That's the whole point in divisiveness, to put us in a place where we are divided within ourselves. And so, having the mind to commit to your wholeness and the care to do it, and the knocking, the asking, the seeking, and creating an intensity of intention towards absolute truth. We were told to know the truth, and the truth would make us free. There are many good people, but good is not good enough, because good people are dying from cancer, heart disease, diabetes, strokes, aneurysms. And I'm saying is that the real success in this living is to be able to get out of here without having died. And you have to really dwell in the reality of eternity. You have to have it as a mindset. You have to have it as your focus. You have to begin to really think about it. You have to realize when you look up, that goes on forever. We are literally spinning in eternity already. And so there is order and there is law. And the intelligence of existence is so intelligent that it does not divide itself. And you cannot divide it. And so for those who are listening, who are jailed or incarcerated, you know, some of the brothers that I've talked to over the years have the greatest degrees of freedom under incarceration because they have a greater understanding as to what is or where the enemy actually is, to have the reflection and the time for introspection to see how they got where they've gotten to, and to be in a place and space where they can create some solace in light of the community that they're in, to repent, to realign, to be restored. And so everybody's on some form of lockdown if you have not committed to liberating and to the laws that govern you. And this being a now moment where we are able to embrace that which ensures our degrees of liberation. And I'm making a distinction between what is freedom and what is liberation. Liberation is where the intelligence of your being has been completely freed so that you function harmoniously as an intelligence of existence on behalf of the whole of yourself and all others. And to be supremely intelligent, where we can outthink a system of oppression, where we can mobilize ourselves and our families and our communities to be willing participants in regaining their footing upon the path of everlasting life, and no longer undermining ourselves with the alcohol and the tobacco and the meat and the dairy and the eggs and the chicken and all of that that is literally the creation of blockage and obstruction within the cells, within the bloodstream, within the mind, within the heart. And to realize that your health is your wealth, but if you're already unhealthy, you have to reclaim your divinity. You understand? You can't just have a conversation about health and wellness in a day and time where you are being warred against, and it is genocide. And it's genocide all over the planet. And so we're having to respond correctly because the bombs that are being dropped on us are microdoses of artificial colors and flavors and nitrates and nitrites and pesticides and herbicides and all of the things that have accumulated over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, held and bound in the mucus from the eggs and the cheese and all of this. And so being 80% water, or restoring ourselves to being 80% highly charged water, is the foundation of our true liberation, our true health, in being able to think optimally, function optimally, consistently renew, rebirth, regenerate, rejuvenate. So as you are maturing, you're not getting old and decrepit. You're not blowing up and getting fat and all of that. You are literally becoming more dynamic than you've ever been before, and you're losing the weight over time because the weight is just waste, and the body is so intelligent that it's going to release whatever is not of it when you stop eating it. But then you've got to be wise enough to open up the channels of elimination so those toxins and poisons can get out. They have to come out through the skin, or they have to come out through the bowel. We're at 445238989. We are in our spring fun drive, and I got sisters over here, they bored. They're doing every other thing other than other than taking your donation. So you can call up at 404-523-8989. You don't have these sisters going to sleep up in here. Well, they supposed to be listening to you, Sister Dharma. They supposed to be listening to you. Well, you know. Wait. They are not here to listen to me. They are here to take your, I don't even want to say pledges. They want to take your donations. They want to get some money up in here. They want you to give support, and they're here to support the programming. And, you know, basically each one has come to their own degrees of personal commitment and realization to what's important to them in terms of how we walk, how we stand, how we allow ourselves to be counted, and being able to offer our gifts, talents, skills, and abilities so that we are supporting the lives of many other ones. And so where we are now requires us to really understand the degrees of freedom that we have, that we do not have to be in a place where you're in a tizzy and worry about what these ones are doing. I was speaking with a brother in Canada today, and he said, yeah, they're making it so hard now. They're making it so hard. And so, you know, to realize that you don't have a government here. So the people themselves have to be self-governing. You have to bypass those who have bought themselves into the White House, those who have paid and those who are paying, you understand, to corrupt those who are corruptible. All right, but when your blood is defiled, you are corruptible because the blood is corrupted. And that's part of the methodology of our oppression. And so our coming to a point in place where we still have community radio, we have opportunity to hear voices like mine and to have other ones in our community, people who are accessible, who are and have come to various levels of self-realization and self-actualization to be able to support your growth and your elevation, because we are really dependent upon each other, whether we realize it or not. You know, WRFG cannot really survive without community support, but the community is beyond those who are listening. It's those who get in and who are helping, and the air shifters and the staff and those ones who are formulating our committees and whatnot. So we are held by volunteerism and have been for 51 years. And so there are many, many ones who will only do what they're getting paid to do. And that's not necessarily service. And those who can get paid to do something that doesn't need to get done in terms of working on behalf of the corporate deities of death, You understand? We don't realize how that's going to backfire, because see, the issue is that there's absolute law. So those who are in a place in space where you have an understanding and an understanding that the seeds that you sow and where it is you put your energy, where it is you put your time, where it is your commitments are, it should be on behalf of life. And where it isn't on behalf of life, then you are going to reap a harvest that is consistent with the nature of the seeds that you have sown. And so it may look like that ones and ones who are a detriment to themselves and everybody else, it looks like they're prospering. There is no prosperity except in light. There is no prosperity except in love. There is no prosperity except in the light, love, wisdom, truth, peace, poise, and power that allows us to be in a space and place where we are honoring the gift that we've been given, to be a part of this, which is so absolutely freaking amazing. You understand? Life is so freaking amazing. And you can go all over the planet, right? Go all over the planet and find all manners of beautiful things. And the reality that we are on a planet that is literally spinning in space, but it's 80% water spinning in space. I mean, who created that? Who maintains that? Who sustains that? The oceans, the rivers, the seas. You understand? You have people who are so there's one guy, and I'm not remembering exactly where he is, but he collected all of these plastics and whatnot from the oceans, and he created these floating hotels out of plastics. Charges $100 for a stay. Right. I mean, just, you know, the intelligence of man is the intelligence of God. The issue is that we need more men and women to care to be godly. You know, to care to be in the truth and the essence of who and what they actually are. To be able to serve life and to have the ingenuity, the gifts, the talents, the skills, and the abilities to be in a place and space where we really care. To apply ourselves, our ingenuity, our talents, our skills. But see, this is what we get when we free ourselves up from the alcohol and tobacco and the sugar and all of these things, so that we are able to fully participate as answers to the questions and solutions to the problems. But we don't need to be here creating problems. We need to be here in a place and space where we are realizing that we are completely complementary to each other. All races and nations, all hues of people. That's how intelligent the intelligence of existence is. To put us in a place where we have come to care about the whole of us, so that we offer our gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. I'll be forward in just a bit. I forgot to do this.
Using African historical newspapers and electronic resources. On Monday, April 14th at 5 p.m., the library presents the monthly film series featuring movies based on Black authors. A group discussion will follow. Additional information is available at 404-613-4001. And on Tuesday, April 22nd at 6 p.m., the library presents Conquer the Soil, a conversation with horticulturist, historian, and author Abra Lee. Ms. Lee is Oakland Cemetery's first Black horticulture director. This has been a public service announcement from your station for progressive information, WRFG 89.3 FM, WRFG.org.